For some people, the only answer to a problem is more government intervention, even though it is literally government intervention that is at the root of all the problems. How they try to circle that logic, I don't know. And I'm almost to the point now where I just don't even want to try to guess anymore. I'm not a psychologist and I never played one on TV. Anyways, CBC News out of Calgary by Tracy Johnson. With Alberta still in a slump, some oil industry players have an idea to get people back to work. So what do you think the idea that these oil industry players have at getting people back to work? Let's read on and find out, shall we? Oh, that's the sub portion of the headline. Oil patch players seek federal approval for investment fund to kickstart slumping economy. Oh, so they're looking to rob the Canadian taxpayer to be able to prop up now the oil industry. I mean, what fuck? Like I say, how fucking far do we got to go into this full-on fucking socialism? Actually, considering the fact that with property taxes and how you never really own your fucking property, and I mean, in reality, that's a communism. But communism was once again another form of socialism. This collectivism, which is the big umbrella for all these fucking collective ideologies, and we're seeing the correlation, folks, okay? I mean, look at the kind of people that promote this stuff and report on this stuff as if it's a positive thing. Put two and two together, use your own mind, your own common sense, your own logic to come to a proper conclusion or deduction and what the fuck is going on. It's now 2.5 years into the oil price downturn. By most measures, Alberta is still in a rut. The economy is expected to come out of recession this year, and oil prices are showing some strength. But there are still 215,000 people without a job, and as of December, more than 14,000 of them have been out of work for more than a year. At the same time, the province is dealing with an ongoing problem of abandoned and inactive oil and gas wells, which count in the tens of thousands. The Orphan Well Fund, which reclaims wells as a last resort in the case of bankruptcy, has seen its inventory of defunct wells skyrocket to nearly 1,400 from 162 in 2014. But all that crash, what happened? The cartel, which are governments, I mean, the OPEC, there's no such thing. They're not private companies when you're talking about the OPEC countries, right? So Kuwait, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Iran, these are state-owned. So these are state actors. And even when you're talking about somewhat the so-called private actors in the oil industry, whether it's Exxon, they cozy up to the state actors that get to decide whether they can drill in their lands, right? So it's cronyism at its finest. So central planning and cronyism destroyed fucking natural incentives and proper market balances, but now they're looking to use that same thing to reinvent or better help the oil industry. Like, how many fucking times do we have to prove before, like, how many people's lives have to be destroyed, how many jobs have to be ruined, how many families have to be torn apart, how many fucking devastating aspects of central planning do we have to point out, and how they fail at every fucking model, right? How many times do we got to point this out until these central planners and these control freaks get the hint? Or actually, I don't even give a fuck when they get the hint. But when are Canadians? When are fucking the people that have to put up with this shit? When are the fucking voting, the slaves, the fucking wage earners, when are the people going to stop looking to political masters to fix or correct the problems in society? They got to look to each other. You got to throw these politicians, these central planners, these media pundits, these control freaks, these corporate fucking cronies, you got to kick them to the fucking curb, okay? And don't worry about what's going to happen afterwards, because I guarantee, listen, even myself, I'm not an oil guy, but if I recognize there was a way in and I could do things properly, I'll put my foot in the door. I'll actually fucking go toe-to-toe with any of these fucks. And you know I have the intellect. You know I have the strength. You know I have the courage. You know I have the character and the resolve to do so. But the reason why I don't play these games. And people like me are never going to play these games. So you're never, ever, ever, ever going to get the good people rising to the top as long as we function in central planned economies with government fucks that get to control, dictate, and manipulate how the markets work. If you allow them fuckers to suffer the consequences of all their bad behavior, all their fucking bullshit, then the good people of the world will step up to the plate and assume responsibility to take care of business. But we're never, ever, 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 ever going to do that. Ever going to do that. Until some people have to learn their lessons. If you're unwilling to force them to learn their lessons, or if you're unwilling to suffer for being idiots yourself, go on. Continue on in your bullshit. Enjoy your misery. Because like I say, people like myself, we were smart long ago. I've prepared. I've got redundancy. There's nothing they can fucking do to me. I'll survive. Not just survive. I'll thrive. I'll be happy. I am. I make it a point every day to be a happy person. Well adjusted. And surround myself with people that I genuinely care about, have genuine compassion for, and I know that are just damn good fucking people. So yeah, I don't get, like I said, the rest of you, either whatever, just go run the fuck in your cabin in the woods if you want, if you have that option. Or if you're going to function in this real world, like the rest of us, start owning up and respecting the people that are truly honest and consistent and logic all the time. Stop fucking listening to the bullshit from these central planning control freaks. No, it's not time to fucking pony up more fucking corporate welfare for these fucking oil execs in Alberta. Conservatives might think that's a great idea. The liberals will be against it, but like I said, myself, being an objective person, I don't give a fuck whether you come at me from the left or the right. I'll point out at both sides. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and fuck you. All right? That's what we got to all start doing. Instead of, keeping people like myself as the minority or basically voiceless because you're willing to fucking stand up in support and solidarity with us. All right, whatever, because you want to cozy up your central planning masters. Well, all right. How are they treating you? Not so good, huh? Like I said, it's all up to you. Which way you want to go. It's totally your choice. But you're also going to suffer the consequences of your choices too. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.